Biden is probably as isolated on the global stage, given how close he is to Israel, closest ally of the United States, on this issue, as the Russians were when they first invaded Ukraine, which is a shocking thing to say, but it shows just how challenging this war continuing is going to be for U.S. foreign policy. Furthermore, at home in the United States, this is kind of a no-win situation for Biden. Because he's got, a majority of Democrats that increasingly are aligned with the Palestinian position, while the Republicans are saying he's too soft on Israel. And so, he just really wants this war to be over. He really wants it out of the headlines. And of course, that's exactly what's not happening right now. In fact, the war on the ground in Gaza is now expanding. The impact on Palestinian civilians is increasing. And the proxy war in the region, particularly the Houthis in Yemen, a proxy for Iran, are engaging in their most significant attacks on commercial waterway traffic and on U.S. military vessels in the last 24 hours that we've seen since the war started. So, this is really a problem from the perspective of the U.S., and this isn't going to get better anytime soon.
Yeah, indeed, Ian. We were just talking about this with an earlier guest, why oil since October the 7th hasn't reacted even more violently to the upside, that old geopolitical risk premium, right? And that's on the sense, at least until maybe about a month ago, that the conflict would not broaden into a regional one and get Iran involved or drawn in. But you mentioned these Houthi sea attacks on the Red Sea, not just commercial shipping, but also Navy ships. How much of this is a sign of risk that, obviously the Houthis are backed by Iran, that Iran is taking a much more active approach?
I think that you might now see some of that political risk premium on oil start to slip back in. It's been very clear that the Iranians do not want to be directly involved in this fighting. You'll remember that right after the October 7th terrorist attacks, the Iranian president immediately got on the phone with Mohammed bin Salman, the first time that it ever happened. And then, in the midst of the war, a couple weeks later, he travels to Saudi Arabia. So the Iranians are sending a message to the world and certainly to the region. Hey, we don't like what's going on here. We certainly don't support the Israeli attacks. And in fact, Iran is on the side of Hamas here. But we also are adults geopolitically in the region, and we're not going to destroy the marketplace.